It was the mighty Sparrow who said, school days are the happy days. I improve on that. Although Slayer Francisco is a great bard, in that poem, he said, school days are happy, happy days. But to me, school days at Golden Prairie are the happiest days of all. So it's time to go down memory lane once again. And as usual, I start in first form. We used to play cricket above, we were in the library. We had our own little rough ground pitch there. And we had a bowler called from St. George. He used to catch the green bus, Haskell Boxall. Very fast. He was the fastest bowler in R and 1-1. And you know, he had all the attributes of a fast bowler. Even going back to his mark and looking back and to receive the ball. And his language, everything. Right? And there was only one guy who could hit him, and he would pull him up top the headmaster's office or in the car park. That was Main Speed to see. He's the only one who could hit Boxall. Talking about cricket, at lunchtime, you have about 12 games being played at once on the pasture at lunch. On any given lunchtime. But there was also another game being played, and that was football. Where they'll have one ball and almost 200 guys running after this ball. If you ever saw Wildebeest on any documentary, just like that. Anything in their way, they run over. So, you know, coming towards the cricket game you're playing, the stumps, everything go flying. Right? Then you saw the skill of people like Mickey, Cobham, Perk, right? Those guys, you saw them at lunch, running behind one ball. You know, that's a sight, I guess you don't even see it these days. Cricket, there was a classic match called the Probables against the Possibles. And you got to see great players like Calvin Hope, for instance. Right? Calvin Hope is perhaps the greatest school captain ever. I mean, all the schools in the entire island. Calvin Hope, yes. And I'll tell you why. After Calvin Hope left school, you know, there were traditionally some white, beige and white clubs like Carlton, Pickwick, and Wanderers. Calvin Hope captained Carlton, and after that he captained Wanderers. How many of you knew that? Those are traditional beige and white clubs, you know. You can imagine Calvin Hope captaining people like Eshel and Stephen Farmer, but he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tribute. That's a tribute to his skill. And I should also tell you this. Have you noticed what the BCA are doing to Calvin Hope? You see who's president of the BCA now? They have a Common Marion as president of the BCA. A few years ago, when they had an election, that same Common Marion was up for election, but then they discovered that he had not paid his dues, his subs. You can imagine that? His subs. He's running for election, had not paid his subs. I know today he's president. And Calvin Hope has proven his administrative skills as a leader. Can you imagine you leading Carlton and then Wanderers? 2 white teams? Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
It makes your skin tickle, doesn't it? Yeah. Industrial arts. The guys from Spikestone Boys School used to come up there probably once or twice a week. You can imagine when they stepped onto that hallway walking down, to them that was like they were walking on air. They used to look forward to that every week. You know, the highlight of their going to Spikestone Boys School was to go to Coach Prairie every week for a couple hours to do industrial arts. That was the highlight of their school days. True.
I remember that.
Yeah. And then we used to go swimming down Haywards. And I remember Michael Archer. advising Norman Watson to eat some of those marshmallow berries because they look very tasty when they're ripe. And Watson being from Deacons Road, a town man, not knowing the difference, ate about 12 of them. And 2 days after, you couldn't recognize him because his eyes were closed, his tonsils were swollen, and Jagan dealt with Michael. And then we had what is known as a trampoline came to the school. That was a novel event as well. It was brought in by Mike Knowles. Which you jump down and you learn to do this and do that. That was a great innovation, right? And on the chat, you were talking about cross countries the other day. I never lost a cross country, a form cross country, never. Whether it was the short cross country, the other one going up by the St. Joseph Hospital, or the one going through the rim. I was never beaten. I was never beaten representing Coach Prairie either in the cross country. And I once held the junior mile for the entire island, the record. How many of you knew that? But they gave up athletics to play cricket and run after the girls. You understand? The Alexandra girls, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Talent show. I remember Rodney Husbands, known as Biggs, bringing down the house with a fantastic version of Midnight Hour, including all the dance moves and all. Yeah, all the dance moves. Again, worthy of a Grammy nomination, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And then we had a film show. You get the film shows in the hall. Like you watch a Western with Django, right? Where you had this gun that you know shoots a lot of bullets at one time, right? Django, The Return of Django, starring that guy Sartana, right? How many of you remember that? How many? You had people like, you used to get little fights. I remember Cobham lifting Garcia and smacking him in the ground, right? And a dance, you remember that through the dance? He had to eat some dance. And two came up whole on tube with the stem and everything from in his stomach. He got smacked so hard on the ground right above, next to the staff room, above 5-1. Because Cobham was a very, very big, tough guy, you know, a town man, right? How many of you remember these drivers? Redman, Grease, Ears, Natik Barnes, conductors like King George. King George is waiting, clipping your tickets. You're on the line. You go out of place, and his head is down. You think King George saw you. When you get to King George, you hold your ticket up. He's gonna reach around you and serve the other guy, and leave you standing. We did English lit, and this is for Mr. Waterman, right? This is for Mr. Waterman. This Mr. Waterman is what a fool looks like. That we were talking about. Mm-hmm. This is the fool. You see, right. See how he's dressed? That's a fool. A very educated person. Very educated. Held a high position in the King's Court. That is for your benefit. See, if you open a pack of cards, you see those things that look like jokers? That's a fool. They're the most important cards in the entire deck. You know why? Because they can be anything. They can be wild. So people who don't know, they open the cards and they throw the jokers away. They're throwing away the most important cards because if you lose the 9 of spades, the joker can be 9 of spades. Or anything. That's another lesson for you. You guys are fond of using and I heard Mr. Ennis using it the other day too. X2 Brutus. Yeah, it's not X2 Brutus, Mr. Ennis. It's X2 Brute. Right? And if this is, I don't know if you did Caesar, right? Mm-hmm. Right? But you know what it means? Even you, Brutus, you also? That's what it meant. So it can't be Brutus. Mm-hmm. The US is dropped off for the E. Right. Brute. Okay? That's another one for you. This is an original score book. of some matches that we used to play. And right here, there's a man on this very chat. April 5th, here he is, ran out, without scoring, having not faced the ball. And how do I know? Because I was at the other end when it happened. And it was his fault, of course, not mine, because I'm a perfect runner between the wickets. Okay? That's just a little treat for you all guys for now. So, I hope it rekindles some memories. And remember, the days at Coach Bury were the happiest school days of all. That's all for now. Thank you.